so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life.
A couple of days ago, I was laying in bed thinking, I should probably start uploading videos on shows that I actually like. Contrary to popular belief, pretty much everything you see on my channel is my actual opinions and not just rage bait. I also never stop seeing comments telling me my taste in anime is terrible. And to their credit, they're mostly right. So today I wanted to mix it up a little bit and give y'all something special and dear to my heart. We're going to be talking about my favorite anime of all time. You're probably thinking it's something like Code Geass or something flashy like JJK. Well, sorry to disappoint you all, but it's an older rom-com that goes by the name of Toradora. You seriously mean to tell me you called Evangelion mid and free run boring and your favorite anime is a fucking romance? Yup, and I've stood by this statement for the better part of half a decade. I really do think Toradora is one of, if not the greatest romance slice of life ever created, and before you judge my opinion, let me explain a little bit. For the people who haven't seen Toradora, to put it short, it revolves around two characters, Taiga and Ryuji. Both of them have crushes on the other person's best friend, and after some fighting, they mutually agree to help each other out. Now that could seem boring at first glance, so what makes Toradora so entertaining? Well, to start us off, let's talk about the main character, Ryuji. We all love when anime tries to make the main character relatable, and Ryuji is the perfect example of that. Ryuji is mostly introverted with a few friends, but has trouble introducing himself to new people because of the way he looks. He's also a very passionate person, and it sometimes makes him look weird. For example, he's a neat freak that loves to clean, and he's a very good cook. He often puts others first to fit in at the expense of his own, which is something super relatable for people who are at that mid-teenager to late high school years. Throughout the show, we get to see Taiga and Ryuji's relationship change, and not in the typical rom-com generic way. In Toradora, the main characters go through what I like to call the 5 arcs of romance perfection. They do develop feelings for each other, but they often look past their true feelings in expense for the other person, even if it hurts them on the inside. The first arc is pretty generic, where we get to see the start of their relationship and the introduction of side characters like Ame, Minorin, and Kitamura. Minorin is Ryuji's crush, and she's the super energetic best friend that doesn't care what other people think of her. Kitamura is Taiga's crush and is very similar, very energetic and outgoing, even being in the student council. However, he's very self-centered and often does things without thinking about how it affects other people. Ame is a model that treats other people lower than her, but I'll give her a proper introduction later on. Moving on to the second arc, this is where Taiga and Ryuji spend most of their time together. He cooks food for her, he helps Taiga in a swim race against Ame, and generally they are almost inseparable. Eventually, Taiga starts to feel jealous when Ryuji starts getting closer to Minorin, specifically during this anime's beach episodes. Speaking of which, Toradora has the best beach episodes in all of anime. The main premise is that Taiga and Ryuji are trying to scare Minorin on a vacation at Ame's beach house, and Ryuji will know it's all coming and look brave in front of her. These two episodes, though short, give a lot of depth to some of the side characters. We get to see Minorin open up to Ryuji about a lot of personal stuff that starts the idea that she's falling in love with him. As I said before, Taiga is Ryuji's main accomplice, and even though she wanted to help Ryuji get closer to Minorin, she's starting to feel a bit jealous. Alright, now about the girl from earlier, Ame Kawashima. She's a childhood friend of Taiga's crush, Kitamura. Ame puts on this airhead lover girl vibe to appeal to others, when in reality she's a total bitch. They literally call her that in the show. Ryuji and Kitamura know all about this, yet she continues to do it anyways. A ton of fans hate on Ame for being annoying, and personally I think she's a great character. Ame trying to get close to Ryuji is something that Taiga hates, and it further pushes her later in the show to realize her true feelings for him. Arc 3 is the beginning stage of their true feelings. Ryuji and especially Taiga won't even admit to themselves that they like each other. To take their minds off of it, they try to help each other with their crushes, but it only makes them fall in love even more. This is also when the culture festival happens, and it makes Minorin get suspicious that Taiga likes Ryuji. This makes her distant, as even though she could have feelings for Ryuji, she thinks that Taiga is a better suit for him. Episode 16 has a crucial scene where Ame finds Taiga's handbook, which has fortune slips from when she visited a shrine. Taiga is hyperfixated on Ryuji and Minorin's relationship, and it shows her growing feelings for Ryuji as well as the guilt she holds for wanting him to be happy with Minorin. Another character I don't really like to talk about, but I'm forced to, is Kitamura. As I said before, you have a very lovable, comedic, and energetic character like Minorin, and then you have a very similar character in Kitamura, but in all the wrong ways. There's a part of the show where he gets rejected by the student council president Kano, and his entire life gets thrown off track. He dyes his hair, he stops showing up to school, he even says he won't run for student council president, and as the runner-up, it left the school in a weird spot. This entire saga kind of felt like a distraction more than character depth, and if it's not obvious, I'm not a huge fan of this part of the show. Kitamura isn't a terrible character per se, he's just the worst out of the 5 and he feels more rushed and is missing the appeal the other characters have. My least favorite part of the show is actually the part with Taiga's dad. He left Taiga when she was young and apparently tries coming back into her life only to leave her over and over again. Ryuji didn't know this and guilt trips Taiga into fixing their relationship because Ryuji never had a dad and it's something that he always hated about his life. Taiga's dad fucks her over one last time and Ryuji finally realizes that some things aren't meant to be fixed and that you should just move on. Arc 4 is where I really started to fall in love with the show. The entire class plans a Christmas party and Taiga has this grand scheme for Ryuji to ask Minorin to go there with him. Taiga even helps Ryuji make a gift so that he can give it to her, pushing him to confess his feelings. At this point, Ryuji still likes Minorin, but definitely notices Taiga's behavior change and starts to second guess everything he does. I fucking love the way this show has characters not wanting to interfere with relationships because of their feelings and often disregard their emotions so that other people can be happy. These episodes create sort of a love triangle between the three as Ryuji likes Minorin, Taiga likes Ryuji, and Minorin likes Ryuji but she wants him to be with Taiga. Anyways, Ryuji waits for Minorin at the dance but she never shows up. Taiga never showed up to the dance, her reason being she wanted to see Santa, but in reality it was because she didn't want to see the love of her life having fun with another woman. Ryuji borrows a Santa bear costume and goes to her house where she's sobbing. Ryuji comforts her so that she doesn't feel lonely on Christmas, and because he's starting to develop feelings for her even more than he already has. The following episodes has the class going on a trip to the snow for winter break. During this time, Minorin ignores Ryuji and tries to dodge him every time he gets the chance to talk to her, and Taiga tells Ryuji he needs to keep trying. While skiing, Taiga has a bad crash and gets knocked unconscious. Ryuji panics and goes out in the heavy snow to look for her where he finally finds her. Toradora really starts to hammer their love for each other during this trip and it's where every character realizes their true feelings for one another. When Ryuji finds Taiga, she thinks it's Kitamura and she tells him that she's in love with Ryuji. Minorin sees all of it, especially the part where he was begging for her to stay alive. He asks not only Minorin but Kitamura to tell Taiga that Kitamura found her so that she wouldn't get embarrassed about confessing her feelings. Finally, we get to Arc 5, the final one, which gets pretty confusing so pay attention. Taiga tells Ryuji he needs the balls to tell Minorin he loves her, which he does and is promptly rejected. Minorin tells him that Taiga is the only girl for him and she knows in her heart that Ryuji loves Taiga. She saw this during the ski trip when he went to go save her. Taiga overhears this and learns that she told Ryuji she loved him to his face and out of embarrassment and guilt she runs away. Ryuji and Minorin chase after her through the school where Minorin admits she's in love with Ryuji but she wants Taiga to have him as it's the right thing to do. This is when Ryuji finally realizes he's in love with Taiga. Fuck, now the family part. This section is the complicated part so stick with me. Ryuji lives with his mom and he was always the responsible one learning to clean, cook, and generally take care of the house and her. To start a relationship with Taiga, he confronts her and tells her that he doesn't want to have to take care of her anymore and that he wants to go to college and move on. Taiga also has a broken family. Again, her parents are divorced and she mostly lived alone as her mother left her, which led to her angry, lonely personality. Ryuji and Taiga finally confess their feelings for each other, and to the dismay of Ryuji's mom, who wants him to live with her forever, and Taiga's mom, who thinks she's way too young to commit to a relationship and run away with Ryuji. Ryuji and Taiga disregard their parents and go to Ami's house to talk with their friends one last time before they leave. Kushieda, being the fucking goat she is, gives her life savings to them so that they can elope, and this is where Toradora broke me. Minorin has been nothing but a good person and has to deal with the heartbreak that isn't her fault and still chooses to help her friends. Our favorite couple run away to Ryuji's grandparents, who he's never met, and they open him with open arms, which shocked Ryuji to his core. This is also where they kiss for the first time. How romantic. Anyways, after Ryuji saw the love of his family, he realizes that he can't continue to run away from his problems forever, and he needs to face them like a real man, which Taiga agrees with. They both go home to face their families before choosing to focus on each other. We learn that she didn't want Ryuji to make the same mistakes that she did, and instead of running away, he chooses to stay with her so that she could have a future without needing support from him. Taiga has been running away from her trauma her entire life, as again her mom and dad both abandoned her and she decides to move in with her mom. She relied on Ryuji for so long, she needs a change of perspective so that she could be more independent. After an entire year, Ryuji gets a message on his locker from Taiga telling him to go to their classroom. Taiga pops out of a locker and Ryuji tells her that he loves her. Taiga says she loves him too, and that's where it ends. No wedding, no kiss, that's it. During my original watch of Toradora, I felt unsatisfied and felt the need for more, as did many. I've always begged for a Toradora Season 2. It's been 17 years and we have yet to see anything other than a comedic OVA, a shitty PSP game where Taiga has triplets, and a limited edition wedding figure of Taiga. It was only until now when writing this script that I've realized Toradora's ending is perfect and there isn't a need for any more. The ending, if anything, was actually genius, so let's specifically look at the 5 main characters. Starting with Kitamura, at the beginning, he's an ignorant teenager that only cares about himself. Through the heartbreak with Kanu, he matures and realizes that not everything is always perfect. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Kitamura, and I do still think he's a bit boring and generic, but I have to admit, although he didn't get much screen time, he did change a lot. Moving on to Ami, who at the beginning and even towards the end of the show was a total bitch. Like Kitamura, she was very ignorant and self-centered. As a model, she always looked at others as lower than her or as toys for her own benefit. Through the conclusion of the show, as she grows closer to the people she originally resented, she realizes that treating everyone lower than her is no way to live life, reflecting the way the stalker in the beginning of the series treated her, as a toy for his own benefit. She even disliked Minarin, but comforted her about Ryuji. As an overlooked character, you would forget that Minarin did just get her heart broken by her best friend, even if she knew it was bound to happen. Speaking of, Kushieda is the best friend we all want. She works 5 different jobs throughout the show, she plays softball for the school, and she wants to have a good time and make friends. We see slight glimpses of Minarin's true character, like during the beach episodes when she talks to Ryuji about aliens and the fact that she might even be lesbian. She doesn't change too much, but it is heartbreaking to see a character so full of love get totally fucked over because she's just such a good person. She even cries once Taiga and Ryuji elope, giving one of the best quotes in all of anime.
Gonna cry? Tears just mean your heart's got a nosebleed.
Getting to the main characters, let's start with Taiga. In the first 2 arcs, she is very aggressive and conservative towards Ryuji, not wanting him to be too close to her personal life. During the 3rd and specifically 4th arc of the show, we see the opposite, where her original resentment backfires, and she starts relying on him and gets super jealous every time he's with Ami or Kushieda. The final arc, we get to see Taiga and her vulnerability. She doesn't even know how to act or think because she's just so not used to it, forcing herself to grow to be more independent, even stepping away from her true love. Paired with her is Ryuji, who was almost the exact opposite in the beginning, wanting to help Taiga but with the fear that she would expose or humiliate him to their class. Throughout the show, Ryuji gains a lot of confidence and stops caring about what other people think of him. In the beginning, Ryuji envies Taiga's confidence, but in the end, it's Taiga that admires Ryuji's emotional maturity. Ryuji finally gets over that pushover mentality I talked about earlier, when he comforts his mom and offers to help her instead of letting her figure it out all by herself. Now let's get to the part we've all been waiting for, the ranking. Toradora, the gem of rom-com fiction, and in my humble opinion, the finest slice-of-life masterpiece I've ever watched, gets a Jello Lover score of, drumroll please, 9.5 out of 10. I love Toradora, I really fucking do, but I cannot give it a 10 simply because the episodes with Taiga's dad and pretty much every episode with Kitamura was just not done correctly. Other than that, I really have no other issues with the anime apart from the voice acting, which I've talked about before on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and let me know in the comments if you have any recommendations for things you want to see in the future. Take care.